Yeah, hello everyone, welcome to today's video. We are continuing our journey on SAFE. In last two videos, we talked about values of SAFE, and yesterday we talked about the SAFE house of Lean, right? Today we're going to talk about SAFE Lean Agile principles. SAFE is based on 10 immutable Lean Agile principles as displayed here. We're going to discuss about each one a little more detailed way. Before that, let's understand why SAFE is focused on principles. We are in the world of building complex systems and highly sophisticated innovative solutions with geographically distributed development with a larger major acquisition in place, right? So we are building a very complex systems as we move forward with the new age technologies and innovations, right? There's one thing is going on other way. The other thing is there is a growing body of language in agile in terms of lean or other areas like Kanban or even design thinking or lean startup. The goal of SAFE is they synthesize that this body of language, sorry, the body of knowledge and the lessons learned while building the complex system with the numerous deployments happening. So this synchronization of the knowledge, body of knowledge you gain, right, and lessons learned from the practical implementations, it creates an integrated, proven practices. The safe practices, then it's grounded in fundamentally stable principles, right? All the practices, there is a possibility of failure in different contexts. Everybody, every practice may not work in every situation. So we cannot go, take the practices and implement everywhere. No, that may not work. So you need to have your practices grounded very strongly with the fundamentally stable principles. That is very important. So then you can use your principles, contextualize and tailor your practices. Right? That's very important. So these safe principles evolved from agile principles, agile manifesto. You know that 12 principles of agile. Then lean product development, system thinking, and observation of successful enterprises. So that is the reason we are focusing on principles much higher than the practices, right? So particularly safe principles are evolved from agile, evolved from lean thinking, lean product development methods, system thinking, and from the lessons learned, right? So that is the reason SAFE is focused on immutable principles. We'll go one by one. The first principle in SAFE is take an economical view. So delivering the best value and quality in the product for people and society in the shortest sustainable lead time requires a fundamental understanding of economics of building system. So every decision must be made in a proper economic context, right? The SAFE framework highlights the trade-off between risk, cost of delay, manufacturing, operational development cost. So whenever you're choosing a project in a particular portfolio, you need to understand the risk of implementation and what is the cost of delay if I delay this particular project. What would be the manufacturing, operational and development cost. So you can take a decision appropriately, right? You can choose high value projects to be picked up at an early point of time. So every development value stream must operate within the context of an approved budget. It's very, very important, right? So understanding of this, working in a context of approved budget, trade-offs between risk, cost of delay, and other costs is very, very important to deliver best value in the shortest time. So always a lean agile leadership should have this particular aspect in mind. The second thing is apply system thinking. Because systems are complex, they consist of many interrelated components. Right? See, optimizing the component will not guarantee that it is optimizing a system. So to improve or optimize a system, everyone must understand the larger aim of the system. Right? It's very, very important. Not only the strategic layer, every layer should understand. That is the reason we give more importance to product vision, we give more importance to product roadmap, getting the big picture around it, understanding the business architecture and systemic things. So in safe system thinking is applied to system under development as well as the organization that builds the system. It's very, very important. The third principle is assume variability and preserve options. Right? In a traditional design and life cycle practices, like waterfall or predictive methods, so they encourage choosing a single design or single requirement and go with that. That proves that it increases a lot of technical debt. It increases risk as you move on. Right? So what is a better approach in agile world is maintain the multiple options and multiple requirements for the designs. Right? Have that options, design options, open for quite a bit of time during your product development. Right? Then finally you can narrow the focus and then resulting in a design that creates an optimal economical outcomes. So always understand that you are operating with a variability. There is no perfect solution. You may in a digital economy, right? So it may not be possible. You need to have the design thinking. You need to have a lean startup. Try to have multiple options, right? And then as you develop an agile product development, you can narrow down your options and finally come to the right one for an optimal solution. The fourth one is build incrementally with fast integrated learning cycles. Right? So this is where the Scrum XP, all those Kanban come into picture, usage of minimum viable products, right? Using the sprint reviews and sprint retrospectives, getting the faster customer feedback, that is mitigating the risk, right? So it's very, very important that develop incrementally, get early and fast feedback points, right? So develop your proof of concept, test it in the market, develop MEPs as soon as possible. The fifth one is basing the milestones on objective evaluation of the working system. See, the business owners, the developers and customers have a shared responsibility to ensure that the investment in the new solutions will deliver economic benefit. So everybody should understand that the system we are delivering, the solution we are making, right, the solution we are providing, right, it has an economic benefit, right? Even the sequential approach has this phase gate reviews, having this imbibing concept of economic benefit, but it does not mitigate the risk as intended. So that is in lean agile development, having the objective milestones like having the PA objectives in place, having the release objectives in place, and evaluate the solution throughout the development cycle. The regular evaluation provides the financial, technical, and fitness for purpose governance needed, assuring that continuing investment will produce a commensurate return. Right. So we talked about in my other videos. I talked about benefit realization management. Right. So you need to evaluate at regular point of time. You need to evaluate sprint level. You need to evaluate PA level. You need to evaluate product level. So you need to build your governance system according to that. The sixth principle is visualize and limit WAP. Sorry, excuse me. Reduce batch size and manage clearance. So it is exactly the concepts of Kanban and Lean here. You need to Lean and Kanban is focusing on continuous flow, right? So Kanban board can be used for visualizing. WAP limit is very important practice in Kanban. So WAP and visualizing will help you increasing the throughput. Reducing the batch sizes will help you to fast and more reliable flow. Managing the queue lengths, will help you to reduce the waiting time, right? So this six principles exactly talks about lean thinking and Kanban way of working. The seventh one is applying cadence synchronized with the cross-domain planning. This again comes from the agile principles. The cadence creates predictability. It provides a rhythm of development, right? Delivering on a periodic basis, sprint on sprint or release on release, it improves the confidence, it increases the predictability, right? So it's very important that cadence and working in a cross domain planning, working with different skill sets within the iteration, that provides a mechanism to operate effectively, right? In terms of uncertainty, right? You might have encountered a lot of uncertainty in development. So this cadence of delivering, periodically and integrating with your customers, right? Synchronizing with the multiple perspectives, right? So all these things will help you to operate effectively. The eighth one is unlocking the instinctive motivation of knowledge workers, right? So lean agile leaders understand that the team members are not motivated based on incentive compensation. So you understand the hygienic factors, right? The salaries, the environment in office you provide, all these are hygienic, right? So that cannot motivate an employees in a knowledge economies, right? The lean agile leaders understand that ideation, innovation, employee engagement is about providing autonomy and purpose and minimizing the constraints. It's not about only about money or salary or incentives. So that's all basic and hygienic things beyond which only autonomy, decentralized decision making, helping with the purpose. People are looking for a thirst actually. They will thirst for understand what they are contributing, why they are contributing, what is the bigger picture they are contributing to us. It's very important. Helping them operating in their own autonomy level, creating an environment of mutual influence, very important, right? So this is the approach, it yields a better outcomes. The ninth principle is the decentralized decision making. We already discussed about empowering employees, providing autonomy and purpose will ensure the faster flow of value. Because in a decentralized decision making, you are reducing a lot of approval cycles. Centralized only strategic and global thing, where you want to justify the economics of scale, right? That area you can have the centralized decision making. Other areas need to be decentralized. Reduce the time, quickly have the brainstorming within that local, and then locally take a decision, move on. That's very important. The final value is organized around the value, right? So nowadays, many enterprises may be using the principles that are developed in last century, right? They might be based on organized around functional expertise, right? In the digital age, we talked about responding to the needs of customer, speed at which we want to respond to them in a new and innovative solutions, right? But that also might have some dependencies, because of the solution requires cooperation among all the functional areas. But in nowadays, in the context of business agility, right? So that demands enterprise organized around the value. See all the value streams. Now you need to identify the value streams in your organization. It's very, very important. You need to identify the flow of the value in your all the value streams you're identifying that impacts the business agility. Then wherever there is a change in the market and customer demand changes, the enterprise should understand, identify and recognize the new value flow need to be created. You can adjust and modify your value streams, right? It's very, very important that you have to organize your business agility around your value stream, not anything else, not on your function, not on your solutions. You need to organize your projects, you need to organize your systems or your release trains around the value stream, right? So I think we got a come to a conclusion of today's video. Hope you got a fair idea about 10 immutable principles in SAFe on which SAFe practices were built, right? So let me know. I would like to listen from you in terms of my improvements areas, in terms of my delivery as well as my content. Hope you like this video. Continue. I would like to continue where you know uh, listening to my videos. Okay. So thanks a lot. Thanks for your time. Bye bye.